be sad to cut that out.
Oh, we're not cutting it out.
Oh, yes, you are.
How you doing, Gordon?
Feeling good, thanks. Here in England. Where are you?
I'm in LA.
We're in the USA, bro.
Right.
You must be the UK.
Fab, are you in LA too?
I am not. I'm still in New York, and so is Nikolai.
All right, cool.
Yep, in the city.
Gordon, thank you for joining us on our podcast, internet radio show.
My pleasure to be here, Nick.
You're our first guest ever. We've never had a guest. It's always been just 5 guys.
I feel special. So now we're 6 guys.
Yes.
Or 5 guys and a guest, but...
That's right, that's right.
And you're our first producer. Many firsts
Really?
today. I wanted to ask you a question. May I?
Please.
I remember the night that I met you at the Luna Lounge when you came up to Albert and I after we played, when we were cleaning up our pedal boards, and you offered your services to us.
Yes?
You remember?
Wait, you had time out. You had a pedal board?
Yes.
Well, not a pedal board, just pedals in a row. There was no board.
A handful of pedals on a piece of cardboard probably is what it was at the time. And it was still, we still had the job of kind of dealing with our gear after the show.
You sure it wasn't just a Jekyll and Hyde?
Let's play that night. You were going to see a different band play. Do you remember the band that you were going to see play?
Well, actually, I just went because of the promoter, Carrie Black. She just said, come see my party. And I didn't know who I was going to see whatsoever. I was just going to see how she promoted because I wanted her to work with me promoting my band.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Yes.
The Sky Cries Mary or?
No, Absinthe with Anne. Remember
Oh, yeah.
Anne? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
So Carrie Black came to my studio, Transporter Realm, and she said, yeah, come to my party. There's a couple cool bands playing. One of them might even need a producer. So come check out my party. And I went and saw 2 bands. Yeah.
So cool.
What was the other band? Do you remember?
I do. They were called Come On.
Oh, yeah, I remember that band.
Yeah. They played before you.
Come on.
Are they still in existence?
I did some research, and I think they changed their name for a minute and then went into oblivion.
Do you remember what you thought of us that night?
I was really into the Come On. I didn't know really what to think of you guys. And all I could really do is I was watching Fab the whole night because in those days, he snapped his back every time he hit the snare. And I was sure he was going to hurt himself. I was just like watching an accident ready to happen. And that's kind of what I remember the most.
Which is why I have a hunchback now.
What did you really do that? In my memory, you're just like every time you'd use 2 hands on the snare and your back would just go creasing in half every hit. And I was going like, Jesus, what's going to happen to that guy?
Well, because when we would rehearse, these guys would be like, hit harder. And I was like, I don't have any more muscles. I've got to use my whole body.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, Fab.
No, it's good. It's just scoliosis for life.
So you were like, why isn't Come On coming up to me to ask?
I was really disappointed they didn't call. But, looking back on it.
You came up to Albert and I, and you were like, hey, I record bands, and I can
yes,
for $200 a song.
that's right.
And we were like, $200. This seems a little steep, but let's try 3 songs.
Right.
Man, I have such fond memories of being in the Transporter Realm with you, Gordon.
I have, and you and I had a lot of great moments together. We spent a lot of time together on that first record. You and
Yeah,
me.
it was fun. It's because I was such a bad drummer that you had to clean me up for a really long time.
No. You just wanted to go early and check every moment of every drum before anyone got there, so that you could make sure that it was the way you wanted it.
That I wouldn't get in trouble. I'm just kidding.
Have you been back, Gordon, to Transporter Realm?
I have never been back since I left, but I met a really cool producer who moved in there about 2 years ago, Franz Mernick. he works with like ASAP Rocky and a bunch of people like that. And he's leaving that studio, so it's available. He's trying to rent it right now. If you guys, want a vacation studio downtown.
You know, we rehearsed not in our old room in the basement, but we went upstairs. We played there. We rehearsed and.
At the really good studio on the top, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that one.
It's
dangerous.
It's no transport around. Let's be real.
Well, now I don't think it's called Dangerous. I think it's called something else. Unless Dangerous is still on the top.
Also, ironically or fittingly, David Kahn has a room in the building too. Did you know that?
Yes. No, I did not.
He's
of
like,
course, I did not. I did not know that at all. Didn't know it.
He's like, of course he does.
What else will he take from that?
He's left me with nothing.
Quick backtrack.
Say hi to him later too, by the way.
Looks like we got a Zoom bomber here.
Yeah. Hello, Colin. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Hey.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, Colin.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Hi, Gordon. Pleasure to meet you from a distance.
Yeah, nice to see you.
A big fan of your work, and I'm sorry to just jump in. I just figured I was late, and I just come late.
It's an open door policy on our
This
show.
is great. I love the look of this. This is very cool. I like your backgrounds.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Familiar?
Yeah, I like the fact that you're like a. What'd you call it, Nick? Or what? Like the people who like bust into like classes and show porn and stuff.
That's where I came from.
Zoom bombers.
Right.
How are you guys doing?
We're good.
We're good. Thanks for joining, Colin. Do you have any?
I have lots of important questions. Like Nikolai, I was wondering, I used to see you play basketball sometimes in the West Village. Do you still play basketball?
Oh yeah, on Horatio with my brother. I remember that.
I watch you all the time.
Where, the cement is kind of hard on the old knees, so I play at a wooden indoor court. But yeah, that was crazy.
A trampoline now?
Sorry?
You get on a trampoline like the gorilla, the Phoenix Suns gorilla.
Yeah, I need like the soft mat. No, that was crazy there. We used to play, there was like a rehab right around the corner. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
They would all like line up and basically cheer my brother or me on, and they got really kind of into the competition. We got a little crazy, but yeah, I remember you used to live around in the neighborhood.
Yeah, and then I would walk by and I would get intimidated because kids in the park would just point at me and laugh or something. And you know when kids do that and it's just devastating. You don't even know. You don't even know what they're laughing about, but it haunts you for days.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Colin, I have a question for you.
Yeah, please.
Do you remember on Christmas Eve day, you were walking with your kids and one of your kids sang, "We all live in a rainbow submarine"? And there was a guy that was like, "Hey man, that's even better than the original." Do you remember that?
How do you remember that?
That was me. And I said to my mom, I was like, "That's Colin, that's my friend." And she was like, "Doesn't seem like he remembers you."
That was you?
Yeah, I was bundled up.
Oh my God, I do remember that very vividly because it was one of the craziest interactions I've had on the street, and you know, it's a lot in New York.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool lyric from your kid.
Yeah, that's right. She was singing, and you were like, you picked it up. I was like, wow. I feel like
you were like creepy.
You got a lot of cred that day.
Yeah.
You're like, stay away from my child.
Yeah.
Truly.
When you're with your kids on the street, you go into a protective mode where even if someone who you know says something crazy, you just want to shelter your child, especially
Earmuffs.
in Greenwich
Yeah.
Village.
That reminds me of, I ran into Johnny T in the street one day, and I've only ever hung out with him in like bars at 4 a.m. And he was with his family, and I was like, "Hey, Johnny," and he's just like, "Ah, I don't know this man."
Colin, do you play keyboards or any instruments at all?
I do not. I have zero musical abilities.
I was wondering if maybe you wanted to be a sixth man and Gordon could produce us.
Oh yeah, sure. We would need a lot. It would need a lot of production.
Well, in this day and age, you just put on the auto tune and just go nuts.
I think even Auto-Tune would abandon me.
Hey, Gordon.
What was I missing? What were you guys talking about? I'm sorry if I interrupted.
Well, I was just going to ask Gordon why he moved away from New York City.
Well, the first time I moved away, and I never came back, was, let's see, combination of 9/11. I was thinking, like, God, do I really want to spend a lot of time in a basement right now? I felt like that. I left really soon after that. And the second thing was when I came to London and England, they were so on fire about your band early. You know, everywhere I went, they just wanted to talk to me about your music and hire me to be the producer. So it was like ground zero for Strokes Dumb at that moment when I came here, and it was so much fun. I just got job after job and party after party and friend after friend, just because you guys were nice enough to put my picture on the record and they knew who I was. Well, basically, that's why I came.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
How often do people tell you, Gordon, that your albums that you produce for us are the best of our albums?
All the time. I think they're just trying to make me feel good, of course. You know, they follow the saga and they go, God, this guy needs a little encouragement. Well, good job on what's those first two Strokes albums. Good job.
Do you hear songs of theirs now that you would love to produce that you're like, oh, that's one I really want to, like, I wish I had a crack at?
No, every song, I just, why? It should be mine.
He doesn't listen to us anymore.
I saw your first two singles. They were great of your new record. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question also. Well, just to follow up to the first question before I forget, but Nick, did you have more than a Jekyll and Hyde and an MXR?
When we first did shows, my pedals were like, I had that Jekyll and Hyde pedal that had two distortions in it, and I had a tuner pedal, and I had this MXR booster pedal for guitar solos. And
Good idea.
That's what I just said. I'm not Guitar Magazine.
The channel switcher on the amp, like the amp had like a clean channel and distorted, so I had the channel switcher on the amp too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is I had like a little suitcase and we would just put the things, there was no board, we would take them out, we would plug it in.
Suitcase that fit all the pedals, and when we do a show, you showed up to the show like like you were going to work with your cool little briefcase full
like
of
Mad Men style.
You just copying all over the place and like cables everywhere.
Just because you said Luna Lounge pedal board, it was just like it did process in my mind.
Pedal board is not the right term, but I still had to, after a show, we got off stage, and then I would have to get back on stage and scoop up the pedals and like.
Oh, I remember that. I had to do that, undo like the hi-hats and
grab an amp. So, you know, as the singer always had the luxury of not having to do that, but it was always a little, you'd sheepishly get back on stage and like collect your stuff. So I
helped with gear. How dare you? I remember carrying Fab's stuff a lot.
I want to apologize for my SVT cab years of going up and down stairs in small bars in England, I remember.
Well, Jules, you weren't actually helping me with my drums. It was the other person's drums.
The drums that you were stealing for the
night. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right.
Hey Gordon, what is your favorite song that you didn't, or album or song of ours that you did not work on?
Oh wow, that it didn't work on.
Or do you just hate all of it?
Well, I really liked a lot of First Impressions, you know, and there were a lot of stuff.
Well, you worked on that one too.
Well, I know, but I didn't work on all of them, and I really like a lot of the songs on that one.
Are there, like, now that there's, you know, you guys have an awesome catalog and people are looking at, you know, when there's lists of the best 10, the best 20 Stroke songs, are there ones internally that you guys disagree strongly on? Like, why is that on there, or how is this not on there?
We talk about it all the time.
Not on the album, but playing live, yes.
Like,
Right.
you mean the reaction of people live sometimes is...
I just think we could disagree on like set lists or what songs. Some people might love songs to play live, and some people might not like to play them. Or
Do you have like a song or two that are always that last debate about, is this going to be on the set list?
Yeah, I mean, we debate like on
One-way
stage.
trigger.
Yeah.
One-way trigger?
Yes. Me and Albert want to play it, and Fab and Nick always take it off.
That is so not true.
Great song.
That is so not true, Jules. Oh
You
my
can edit
God.
it out.
No, I'm not. That's staying in. Liar. But it's true. I have, for whatever reason, I have this weird, like, I love the song. I just have a weird inability to play it. And the more I don't play it well, the more I don't play it well. You know what I mean?
there were, though, this time around, there were like definitely there was like a want to do more songs from these two records, or at least try them in rehearsal. There's some songs we never got to play live.
Jesus, this is becoming an intervention.
Alrighty, Colin, let's
Yo, this is as bad as when we were live on and I couldn't start Razorblade. And I
So
heard
the answer
from
is yes, we disagree.
How many are how many songs are typically for your albums through the years? How many were the extra songs that you do that didn't make the albums?
Typically about 0.
Yeah.
About 0.3 on average.
Except for this last time where we got like 4 or 5 that will go on the next record.
Wow.
So 0.
Did you get to play everything off this album live yet, or not, because everything stopped before it?
Not everything.
We were about to try 2 of them, right? At the Door and something else at the LA show, and
Helpless, yeah.
and it got postponed.
So we played 3. I think we played 3 so far off this one.
Yeah, people don't really generally respond well to new songs. Yeah.
We had an infamous First Impressions tour where we only played First Impressions before the album came out.
In Japan.
In Japan.
Already like the quietest audiences, notoriously.
Amazing.
Do you think you'd ever do like a week in New York where each night you did a full album, like in succession kind of, or where you could just do it like a residency and do them all for people to get to see the ones that you haven't done forever?
But even if that's a short show, even if that's just like a 35-minute show,
it's a good idea.
Yeah,
that's a cool idea.
because I'm sure there's things
we
you
will
would
steal this
visit
idea
and you really enjoy, or things people haven't heard you guys do live and forever that they would be psyched about.
If we ever do this idea, do you want to open or MC or do something?
Oh my God, yes, please.
Cool.
I'll play. I'll just do covers when I open up.
you'll sing auto-tune. You'll sing with auto-tune.
Auto-tune.
I have a question for Gordon.
Yes, Nikolai.
When we were recording, you talked about an acid trip where you said that you found the meaning of life, but you couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah. Good
remember
memory. Good memory. No, I don't remember taking acid. No, actually. And what would you like to know specifically?
I would like to know some details, some vivid.
Okay, here goes. I was about maybe like 17 in high school, and I bought some LSD the year before and lost it in my closet, and I never took it and never thought about it. When I cleaned my closet one day, I found this little thing, and I knew it was, and I went to a high school football game, and I took this acid, and I went out into the woods near our high school where all the cool kids smoked pot, and all of a sudden, I lost my ability to talk. So I was standing with my buddies, all passing a joint around, and suddenly I didn't know how to talk anymore. And I was just about to panic, really panic, and go into like, oh my God, I can never talk again, when I suddenly realized that I knew the answer to everything, any question I could ask myself. You know, what's the history of the world, the meaning of life, where is God located, all these things, the answer would just come immediately. And so I spent hours and hours just asking questions and finding answers. And I was like, this is so cool. Yeah, I can't talk anymore, but now I know everything. The next morning I woke up ready to like go back to my superpower, and I couldn't do it anymore.
It's like a Twilight Zone, man.
Wow.
That is my little story.
That's
Thanks for asking.
amazing.
I haven't told that one, I think, since then, man. That's a
And you
long
don't
time.
remember where God is located.
I don't remember which facts in the Bible are true and which aren't.
Wait, more importantly, you
Yeah.
were at a high school football game?
Yeah, I mean, that's
playing?
interesting. No, I think I always went down there to go into the woods where the kids were like drinking beer and smoking pot. I didn't like sit in the bleachers and like cheer my high school on. Some Amish totems, by the way, in case you wanted to know what my high school team was.
Amish totems?
Some Amish.
Oh,
You know,
some Amish.
Some Amish.
Sememish.
What is that?
Where was this?
It's near Seattle.
Got to be a Native American thing, right?
Yeah. We had totem poles was our
cool.
mascot and everything.
A
Cultural
totem pole was your
appropriation.
mascot? Just like,
Yeah,
like a pole?
the Sammamish totem.
I was thinking, what would an Amish totem be?
A buggy, a horse and buggy.
Yeah.
This episode's going to be sponsored by drugs.
Dare to do drugs.
Speaking of which, Colin, I had a question. Is there ever any like corporate sponsorship, or like have you ever made a joke, or has there ever been a sketch where like a pharmaceutical company or Exxon that somehow someone from somewhere was like, don't do that?
Yes, occasionally we get notes like that. There was one joke about how McDonald's they were introducing a new slogan that was called like loving, not hating, which is such a crazy McDonald's slogan. And the joke was like, it beat out the next best option, eat the rats this clown killed. And McDonald's was a sponsor on the show, and they were actually kind of cool about it because they were like, hey, we're okay if the clown kills something, but can it not specifically be rats? So it just became like, eat what this clown killed. And then they were like, yeah, that's okay.
That's got a ring to it.
Oh man, that is pretty nice though.
Colin, I think not a lot of people know that the Strokes and you have a history that dates, I guess, many, many years, 15 years now, something like that, back to when you were in college.
Yeah, I guess probably when I was
of the Harvard Lampoon somehow.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could describe how that came to be and what the hell that even means.
It's pretty strange coincidences of things. I think the first show of yours that I went to was at Irving Plaza, and it was you guys in the White Stripes.
Oh.
We're doing a show together. It was probably like 2001. I actually just tracked down the poster. I gave it to my brother and I went, and it was a very important show for us. So I tracked down the poster for him for Christmas, like from that show. It was called like One Hot Night in New York or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I also remember between you guys being, between you guys and the White Stripes, you guys played the Music Man soundtrack as like an interstitial, like the entire, like a bunch of songs. I don't know if you guys chose that, but I had just also been in the Music Man in high school. So I was like, it felt like a real, this is your life. And then when I was on the Lampoon, when I got onto the Lampoon as a writer after years of trying to get on as a writer, you were one of the first people I thought to invite to come. Occasionally you'll invite people to come to the Lampoon. And like we had Kurt Vonnegut came and
love Kurt Vonnegut. Love Kurt
years,
Vonnegut.
like all these people. It was like it was
He's wearing a Kurt Vonnegut t-shirt.
Oh my God, Breakfast of Champions, wonderful. That book's so. I just reread that book. It's great. But occasionally we invite people, and I invited you guys, and miraculously you said yes, and you had a show in Boston, and we all went to the show, and then we bought. I don't know if you remember. I'm sure you remember, but we bought these weird go-karts.
Oh yeah, Albert and I were on it.
Yeah. I'm sure there's photos of you guys riding.
We were racing the Hives. Well, a fake version of the Hives.
and we got stuck. We were supposed to win. You guys had it rigged that we would win, and we got stuck. And then the Hives waited to cross the finish line. Your fake Hives waited to cross the finish line so that we came in first.
I remember because we didn't have that much money, so we bought go-karts that we had to assemble ourselves, which is a really bad sign for go-karts. And we were up all night building these go-karts, and then yours broke down. And then I remember I got, I got elected president of Lampoon, and it was like organizing that event was like a big part to show like I was somehow that proved to people I was responsible. And so I felt very indebted, in addition to being a great time. And then when I got hired as a writer at SNL years later, you guys, my first year, you guys came and performed on the show.
Is that with Miley Cyrus?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's right. And then the first year, I think I got promoted to either head writer or like a supervising writer was the next time you came and played on the show. So all these nice milestones in life, I oddly had some connection where you had a new album and I had a whole excitement about some other strange experience. And it was so crazy because when I found out your album was coming out April 10th, I just finished a book and it was supposed to come out April 14th.
Wow.
And like about my life and all this stuff, and it was supposed to be the same week that your album, and mine is now coming out in July because there were no books that could be sent out. But it was very strange, all these weird coincidences.
It's very nice. I've been with you the entire time.
I have only wonderful, happy memories of all these nice occasions in life.
We're like 5 fairies that just hang out around you.
We were also supposed to play on the 11th.
No.
That's crazy.
I know you're supposed to play at SNL. I'm so bummed. It was like I was so looking forward to it for months.
Yeah.
Yes, too.
Congratulations.
You're on our historic show.
And this breaks people like the way Carson used to break comedians, right? This is like
Yes.
we're making.
Yes, that's why you're on it.
We got invited to Harvard. We did not know what to expect. Just, going from city to city and playing in clubs, that was one of the weirdest, most memorable, most fun experiences ever of my life. There was a lot of weird, ritualistic, secret society type stuff that were
Had like an Illuminati vibe.
Yeah. Don't say anything in case we get like murdered later or something.
Yeah, I don't want to have your blood on my hands.
Do the Lampoon members really stick to the secrecy?
Yeah. So watch it as honorary members. Watch it.
I do remember people having to say a toast, and then everybody else says a toast, and then like they and then Albert was like, a toast, and everybody was like, a toast, and he was like, fuck you, and everybody cracked up.
You got hammered that night, man.
I meant that in a loving way.
Albert hammered Jr.
I read online, Colin, that your dorm mate was Pete Buttigieg.
Yeah.
Was he
What?
potentially
Are you
around
serious?
there at the time?
Yeah, it's really. He was very active in like the government. I forget what it's called, like a government organization there that is like a pre-political thing. But you never when you see someone then you never think, oh yeah, that person's probably going to run for president.
Would you play him on SNL?
I did.
That's weird.
Has he reached out to you?
Yeah, and I saw him. He did. He was on like Jimmy Fallon show, which is in our building. So I went down and saw him there and talked to him for a while.
Are you guys friends?
We were always like acquaintances. We were in the same dorm, but we would like see each other at dinner or say hi. And we had like a lot of mutual friends. So he was always a great guy. But again, you never. Like I donated when he ran for mayor in Indiana. I was like, oh, I'm so happy he's running for. But then you don't think the next step is president. It's pretty weird.
Wow.
Did you guys room with any presidential candidates?
Bernie Sanders. Hey, Colin, congratulations on the book, by the way.
Thank you. It'll be out sometime.
Plug your book. It'll be
Yes.
Okay, great. You can get it now. I think you can pre-order it
On the
in
Strokes
July.
website.
What's it called?
It's called A Very Punchable Face.
That's good.
Based on what a lot of people have told me, which is I have a very punchable face.
your face is highly kissable and adorable.
Oh yeah.
Wow. A highly kissable face, maybe. Alternate title. You have time.
Yeah, I'll go find the books and cross it out and write it.
So, Gordon, real quick question while we still
Okay.
have you.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone else had questions, but how would you describe the difference in sound of our records and afterwards?
You mean the ones okay, let's see. I don't know, maybe the way I like to work, like I like to make things fun. I'm really into the excitement and the fun, and I'm like accuracy and technical perfection isn't really my strong point or my main interest in music. So I think that maybe my records maybe are looser. And also the big thing that's different is you guys were super young and super fresh, and you hadn't toured 300,000 or 400,000 shows yet. And so I had you when you were particularly volatile and excited and like that. And maybe after being in the business for 5 or 6 or 10 years, that energy changes. So I think a lot of it has to do with the fact of I had this energy in my room at that moment.
You had youth.
That's the main thing. I think I don't know. You guys were just you were just bouncing on, I remember Fab just every time he'd come up to the street, he'd get some stickers out and paste them on the side, on the crosswalks, that was the
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
You were not on cocaine.
No, I wasn't.
No, I don't think so.
I like to do some blow and put up some stickers.
Do some blow and play to a click track. Yeah, that's my real deal. So relaxing.
Hours.
I did. I was excited to go to see you because you were so fun to hang out with. It was like you were somehow professional, like a new level, but also so intriguing. You tell stories so well, and you became a very good friend.
I'm glad. I remember it fondly.
Do you still have that P bass, Gordon?
I do.
Oh,
Do you want it?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not that.
Are you serious?
I'm not
Okay.
my main attachment to it is that you used it,
How did you, what was the meaning behind Transporter Realm? How did you come up with that?
There was a great producer in Berlin, which is one of the reasons I moved to Berlin after England, named Moses Schneider. And his studio was called Transporter Realm. And when I lost the studio I had before, the one that incidentally, I just found out, I'm doing research about my studios and stuff like that right now. My original studio was in the same building, 56 Ludlow, that the Velvet Underground, 5 floors up, formed their band and recorded all their songs that went on the first album.
Oh, cool.
So when I lost
Never
that
heard of it.
studio, Moses was a friend of mine, and he said, oh, hey, you lost your studio? How about this? If you find another location, I'll send you a whole bunch of equipment, and I guarantee I'll bring bands from Berlin to record there. So because he helped me get that studio started, I thought it would be cool to name my studio after his, and he still has that in Berlin. So that's why it has a German name, Transporterraum. And that's the story.
Were you guys intimidated by Gordon when you started, or vice versa, when you first started working together?
I was excited. I thought we had found someone who it seemed like everyone felt like they could communicate to him and that he would bring that across.
I wasn't intimidated, but I was excited. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were doing demos, so, you know, we had recorded so many random times, and every time you record, you think this is going to be it, and it's going to be special, and it never was. It was always disappointing or not as good as, and then, you know, Gordon was the first time that we recorded something. It was, you know, first time, yeah, in my life when I think I heard something and thought, oh, whoa, this is like actually good. So that was, yeah, it was exciting.
I always thought your home demos were really good. I heard a couple of those the other day. I was like, shit, he had almost everything that came later. And this, you can hear it in there.
Well, I remember we brought the VS880 into the studio to copy it, but I had a moment like that with demos. It was Albert's machine. I had moments like that with the demos too, but demo is different though. Like to actually record it in a way where you know that other people are going to hear it and feel it.
Right.
That was probably a bigger moment, I would say.
Gordon, after we made that EP together, before we made the album, we got signed, and our record company encouraged us to try working with other producers that, you know, not the crazy guy who made our demo. Maybe some big fancy guys who cost a lot of money, and we went into a big fancy studio, and we actually tried a couple of songs.
Right.
At their request, and they were like, we'll pay for it, you guys just go in and try it with this guy. How did you feel then?
Well, there was
I don't think he knew that we were going to record.
No, there's this moment that you guys might not remember, but it's like one of the pivotal moments of my life when Julian asked me to go to dinner with him at 7A Cafe, which was right across from where I was living at the time. And he sat there and he broke this news to me. He said, we just got back from tour from England, and our record company over there wants us to use another producer. I said, who? And he told me who it was. And I said, oh my God, that guy is like, he sells like 6 million of every single record he's made since the 80s. And then Julian said, but listen, we really like you. So do you consider yourself a better producer than this guy? I said, shit, you're asking a guy who's never sold, I have 0 records sold, and this guy's at 6 million. And I said, I can't say I'm better. And Julian got really angry with me, and he left. He left me there, and he said, now we got to go use that other guy. Thanks a lot. Is that really happened? That's not a figment of my imagination. And
I have 0 recollection of that.
I remember this. I remember it very well because I was thinking like, as you're leaving, Julian, you're like leaving me with you didn't even eat your dinner. You're just like got up and left because you were so upset with me for not saying that. You said, I have to do what's best for the band, you know, and if you could tell me, if you can reassure me that you're better, you know, I can use you. And then as you left, I thought, man, I could have been famous. I could have been famous, but if only I could have just like said what he wanted to say, you know, I just really went on myself about it. And so, yeah, I knew your guys were doing it. And then you would not believe the opposite thing when Julian called me from tour in USA, called my phone and said, hey,
just kidding.
Still got that studio down there in the basement? I go, yeah. It was like that. I was jumping up and down like you would not believe when I got that back.
Yeah, we were pretty inexperienced, and I didn't really know what it would be like to record, you know, in some professional studio. We had so many weird, janky experiences. Like, do you remember when we went with like Alex Ams? What was the studio where Tupac got shot?
Quad.
Like we'd sneak in with like this guy who was this like storied producer guy in this like mega expensive studio. And every time we recorded, yeah, it didn't really sound good. And so, yeah, they suggested this guy that he had worked with like what, the Pixies or something? Was
yes,
it Gilmore?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And yeah, I remember we recorded with him, and yeah, it just didn't feel as good as the demos we did. Like, I remember Hard to Explain, and it just didn't feel right.
I remember Take It
I
or Leave
remember
It.
the
for some
label
reason.
not being into it, but whatever. Again, whatever's best for the band. Well, I'm glad we did it, Gordon.
Oh, me too. Believe me, every day I'm glad about it.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Us too.
Mhm.
Do another song all together now. Do it.
Okay, ready?
Please for a while.
Well, I can't because I got an SSL sound card here, and I know that like that's not going to work for Julian.
I feel like I've become the Andy Cohen on this reunion. Bringing everyone together.
Hey, my friends, I think I might actually check out and go to sleep pretty soon here. But is there anything else anybody wants to say or ask? And before I go,
I love you.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Love you
say
too.
too.
Love you
You
too.
took the
Love you
words right
too.
out of my mouth.
it was so
Are
great
those-
seeing you guys in Berlin and in London. You know, before the big world
So
shutdown.
fun
Yeah.
talking around Berlin with you.
Thank you very much for being on our show, Gordon.
Thank you for asking me to be your first guest. That's very cool.
Sweet dreams, Gortron.
Great talking to you,
night.
man. Take care.
Love you,
See you
Gordon.
later.
I love you. I
Bye.
always love you.
Bye.
I will always love you.
And then there were 6. Cool.
Have you
That's
seen
crazy.
that film? Have either of you seen that film?
No.
I've never seen it.
It's
What year is it?
Oh man, I think it seems like 1980 or something like that. It's about Edie Sedgwick, and
wow.
they started the film with her, and then they had to finish it without her, and it's kind of interesting.
Like, because she died, or she was just
Yeah,
wasn't-
she died, and she plays herself in the movie. Like it's really weird. She
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, she's not.
That's
It's,
cool.
yeah, it's very interesting to film.
The cover looks a lot like a Transformer.
It does.
Crazy.
I think they were friends. Yeah,
That's
She was
cool.
friends with the Transformers, Nikolai. It was
she played. She used to watch that cartoon show all
Yeah.
the time.
is her favorite.
The Opticons or the Transformers? Kidding.
What was
Oh,
that,
no, the
Nikolai?
Decepticons.
The Decepticons.
He called it the Opticons, and then he went the Transcendibons.
Transcendipods? I haven't seen that in a while.
Who was your favorite? The Octacons?
The Octocons or the Transpandipons?
Let's start. Take 2.